Hello, everyone. I am Virginia Prodan, the host of Courageous Leadership with Virginia Prodan. And I'm so glad for you to be here. Remember our podcast, Courageous Leadership with Virginia Prodan. It's every Wednesday and Saturday at 10 o'clock Central Time and is on Spotify, PodBean, Apple Podcast, YouTube, and on Edify Podcast Network. We are so happy that you are following us, that you are sending us your questions, and also subjects that you want us to touch and to talk with you about. And one of the subjects is about your legacy. As we approach Sunday, Mother's Day, many of you ask me to talk about legacy. We live in a society where a lot of people are influenced by the culture. Many of you said that you grew up in a dysfunctional family, that your legacy was a negative or destructive one. And I totally believe you. I was not there. I want to believe you. But what I want to help you is that no matter the legacy that you receive, you can build your life in such a way that your legacy will be a legacy of love, a legacy of courage, and legacy that will influence many others, no matter what kind of legacy you receive. I hope many of you read my book, Saving My Assassin. You can buy the book on virginiaprodanbooks.com/products/book. If you read my book, you know that my childhood was, according to some of my readers, worse than Cinderella, that I was a slave in that house. I was told many times that I don't belong. And the things go on. You can read more in my memoir, Saving My Assassin. But I will never remain of that stage, wherever I was told or wherever people label me. I am taking responsibility and I am building my life in such a way that my legacy is a legacy of love, a legacy of hope, a legacy of success, and a legacy that will influence my children and others around me. So this is what I am saying to you. I want you to rise up from whatever circumstances you grew up under or what other people told you, to building a legacy, building your life on your own terms, on love, determination, living a life of significance and success. And it is possible. I know many in this culture, including Christians, will complain about parents, mother or father, or they will say that their family was dysfunctional. I have a good news for you. Open the Bible and read the family that Jesus Christ was born in, and you will be grateful for. He was the perfect Son of God, and in his family he had murderers, he had prostitutes, he had liars, and the list goes on. There is not a perfect family. And also, I want to mention to you, there are few things, and I hope this will encourage you and motivate you to rise from a victim to a victor and to build your legacy and your life in such a way on God's principle that you will live a different kind of legacy. you have to remember that God is giving us many choices in life, but in the same time, He's sovereign over some specific times or specific events in our lives. One is the time, the day where we were born. We don't decide that. The place where we were born, no, you haven't decided to be born in America. I never decided to be born in Romania, but God decided. And here I was born in Romania. You were born here. The third thing is we don't decide the family we were born to. And the fourth one is we don't decide the day when we will die. God knows that. So if all of those four are part of God's plan, and you believe in Romans 8:28 that everything works for the good for those who believe in Christ, that you have to remember that God is a God of love, that He built your life for a specific reason. It's easier for me now to look back and say, yes, I suffer in that place in Romania as a kid and as a teenager. But looking back, I can see that God, who did not create, He allowed that to happen. Allowed to happen in order for me to build who I am today. So try to look back at your circumstances, whatever happened in your life, and see how those things, one way or another, in God's plans, work in such a way that build the character, the skills, and the talents that you have now. And in the same time, I advise you to take a piece of paper and many times we say what we think. I don't like what my mother did. Okay, good. Divide the page in half. And on the left side, put everything that your mother didn't do right. And I'm talking about mother because it's Mother's Day, and I want to encourage you on doing that and respecting your mother no matter what happened in your life. So right on the left side, wherever you think that she didn't do right. And after you finish that, on the right part, think about, if you are a parent, how many of those things that you don't like, maybe you are doing right now to your children or to others around you. Take responsibility. You are not what somebody has done to you or said to you or even label you. God created you as a special person, and take control of your life and remember who you are in Christ and build your legacy on that. Your legacy is not something that will come out when you die. Every single day you build your legacy. You build your legacy on who you are and your achievements. Those are not strictly all the necessary things. It doesn't matter that your title, your winning awards, or whatever you want to call, are the only part of your legacy. But those are part of your legacy. The way you see life, the way you build honesty in yourself, and by example in the life of your children, the way you build resilient children or influence others that way, it's important. The way you excel as a leader every single day is your legacy. That's how you build your legacy. It will stay for the rest of your life, for the rest of the life of people that will be here after you leave. But the way you treat others, the skills and talents that God put in you and you want to use for your life to glorify Him or to influence others, It is very, very important. The way you act and the way you do, it's the way you affect others in the way you live your life. It's such an important aspect of your legacy. Your actions, your words, your deeds will have a powerful impact of your legacy of good deeds and appropriate behavior. Parents and grandparents have such an important role in children's life. The way you treat them, the way you relate to them, it's important. And let me tell you something. I know in America, a lot of families are far away from grandparents. Well, when I came to the United States, we didn't have any grandparents, but I didn't want to remain at the stage of victim and think that my kids don't have grandparents. So I adopted grandparents, and they had an amazing influence on the life of my children. And our relationship for years has been just absolutely beautiful. It's time now that I invest in others that might be far away from their grandparents, so I can adopt them. And you can do the same things. It's the way you build your legacy in the future generation, and that will remain for the rest of their lives. Your selfishness, your courage to approach others and to offer your help and your time, it's important. People can also leave an impact in others in the way they serve the community. You can go to a first grade class to high school, and you can adopt a student, you can adopt a class, you can be part of their activities, and your legacy of kindness, your legacy of generosity, of your time, and the fact that you take social responsibility to invest in these people will have an amazing aspect. Please don't think that legacy means always money. Your time is precious. Your caring love is affecting in such an amazing way and will be an amazing part of your legacy. But also will reward you to live a life of significance and success right now. Well, speaking of good deeds, you can share what you have and to impact a legacy of others. You can donate if you have money. You can create a positive legacy by sharing, like I said, your time, your care, your love, your knowledge. If you are very good, you have skills on computers or speaking or any other, dancing, painting, you can do that. And that's a great good and an important aspect of your legacy, how you invest in others. And that is important. It will enrich your life and it will enrich the life of others. So please understand, your legacy, it's not going to be opening up when you die. You create your legacy with your life every single day. And your legacy will have an impact. I remember a long time ago, reading something that impacted my life and impacts life of many people anytime I share the story. A young couple invited their parents to come and have lunch with them on Sunday. But the grandparents, started to get older, and as the mother prepared a very special meal, spaghetti and meatballs, and the husband was so happy about this. But in the same time, he thought about something really special. So as they prepared the table and everything, food for grandparents to come and for their kids, maybe 10, 12 years old, the father went into garage and got another table and opened up the table, and the wife looked. She didn't know what's going on, but the husband said, "Your parents are growing so old, and I don't like it anymore when they eat spaghetti and meatball with us, and it's disgusting. So I'm gonna put them on this table separate from us, and they're gonna eat there." So when the grandparents came, that's what happened. Grandkids wanted to move with their grandparents, but the father said no. So everybody was kind of quiet, had lunch and everything. The grandparents went home, and later in the evening, as the grandkids were in their room and the parents heard them talking, they went into their room to see what's going on. And the grandkids were building something, and the parents said, "What are you doing?" Clear, the kids said, "We are building a table for you when you will grow up like our grandparents, that you will eat at the other table." The parents were shocked. They just ran into their room, and they look at each other, and they realize what they were doing. They were influencing in a negative way their children. Their actions were so destructive. They went and apologized, and they moved their parents later on back to the table. You see, not every single legacy is always positive. And you have to be aware that whatever you do, your actions, your deeds, your attitudes, your words will influence others in a positive or negative way. Just think about, we have so many negative example of legacy. Just think about Hitler's legacy. Dictator Ceausescu in Romania, where I lived under, he had a horrible legacy. When we talk about these people, the words of killing, disrespect for other lives, lying, and the list goes on. So, what I am trying to convince you today is, yes, I do not know your circumstances. I do not know what type of legacy you receive, but no matter what, because I did not receive a positive legacy, from my own example, I encourage you to rise up, learn from those destructive, see how God used those negative influence in your life to build the character, the positive character in your life, and how you can change that with God's help. You are unique, you are special, and your legacy should be a legacy of kindness, a legacy of love, and a legacy of hope. Because when you start to live that legacy with gratitude, hope, love, and knowing that that will remain, that legacy will remain and will touch others years after you are gone, that your life will change forever. And you will be able to live a life of significance and success. Yes, it is possible. Everything is in your hands, and you can do that. You can rise from victim to a victor. You are created to be a victor, not a victim, no matter what happened in your life. I hope that my message encourages you. I hope that you will go and purchase a book, Saving My Assassin, from my website, virginiaprodanbooks.com. You will be encouraged in how God helped me to build a legacy of hope, love, and courage and determination, not only for my children, but for people around us. So, until next time, remember, our podcast, Courageous Leadership with Virginia Prodan, It's every Wednesday and Saturday at 10 o'clock Central Time. You can listen on Spotify, PodBean, Apple Podcast, YouTube, and Edify Podcast Network. Until next time, don't forget to send us your questions, your comments, and remember, your life is your legacy. Be blessed and keep in touch. Bye-bye.